The Soybean School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Pride Seeds, Nodulator Pro, and Cruiser Max Vibrance Beans.
So I just got back from the Commodity Classic in California, and lots of farmers there, of course. And I started talking to some farmers from Mississippi on how they handle their resistant weeds. And of course, Palmer amaranth is the nasty one down there. And I ran into some large farmers, some 12,000 plus acres, and they have 2 full-time sprayers that do nothing all year long but spray waste areas for Palmer amaranth before it gets an inch tall. So I got thinking back home is what do we do in our waste areas, and we don't do much on purpose. And so when you start thinking about weed resistance management, you really have to start reducing the size of the seed weed bank. And of course, the way you do that is don't let weeds go to seed. And so our Canada fleabane is probably our biggest nemesis right now, and at least in the Southwest, we've managed to handle it in our soybean fields where it's predominantly a problem. And when we look at some of these waste areas, you take a fence line, say 1,000 feet long and 3 feet wide, and let's just say there's a fleabane plant every square foot. If that all sets seed, that's enough weed seeds to populate a 50-acre field at 275 plants per square foot. So when you start thinking of, well, how do we develop resistance management, or resistant weeds rather, and when you start, look, it's just a numbers game. So if you only allow, say, 30 weed seeds per acre, and most scientists will tell us every billion seeds is a resistant biotype. So you have to look at 10 million acres to find your first resistant biotype. But if you get to 3.2 million seeds per acre, you only have to look at 300 acres to find your first resistant biotype, which is what the case is with Canada fleabane. So then you say, well, what farmer would ever get to 3.2 million acres of seed? Well, it's 17 fleabane plants per acre going to seed. So it doesn't take long with these prolific seed producers to get there. And the significance is, of course, is the alternative chemistry. The more weed seeds it has to deal with, the greater selection pressure. So as we rotate into residuals and other modes of action, we want them to last longer. We have to start reducing the amount of weeds that they're having to face. So I'm thinking, getting back to looking at some of these waste areas, the fence lines, that little triangle piece in the corner, do a good job in the field, and yet we let these waste areas go to seed. And something like Canada fleabane is airborne seed distribution, and so it really becomes a community weed, not just a farmer's weed. So I think we're going to have some conversation with our growers here to start looking at some of these waste areas and just keep that reseeding of these nasty weeds down on our farms this year.